Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 213 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today I welcomed an alternative rapper, originally from Boston, Massachusetts, currently residing in Nashville, Tennessee. His name is Chenzo. I initially connected with him in 2020. We both stayed in touch since then, and it was cool to have a real first discussion with him this week. He discussed what led him to decide to move to Nashville in the first place, being in college for music, initially deciding to pursue it thanks to his dad and some other people encouraging him to go that route. What music and just being a creative means to him, pushing good vibes and good energy. We also talked about his 2023 album called Yes, Life is Hype. That has a lot of different production styles, a lot of different rapping styles from Chenzo, and I think it's a pretty cool collection of tracks. You should definitely go check it out. He also talked about his next project called In Rotation that's going to be coming out this summer, and another version of Yes, Life is Hype that will be coming at a later time, probably in 2025 if I had to assume. But I'm excited for all the new music he has coming out. I think just him, having such a good aura and good energy is going to keep him going for a long time. And I'll be excited to see, what his next move will be. So without further ado, let's get into this one. All right, so welcome everyone to episode 213 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today we have a really awesome alternative rapper. Been following this guy now for probably the past couple years. Just stayed in touch with him on social media. He's out of Massachusetts area. Everybody please welcome Chenzo to the show. How you doing, man?
Doing well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely,
I think, you've been following me for a minute now. I think it was when I first came down to Nashville. That's where I'm at now. Yeah, okay. I'm from Massachusetts.
Awesome.
But I think, it was, 2020 probably.
Yeah.
Probably around the time you were starting the podcast.
Yeah.
And, we've followed each other and just, kind of seen each other from the outside a little bit. So it's dope to see us both, progress in that time. And I'm glad that you just, kept in touch, man.
Absolutely, man. It's really cool when you can do that and you can meet other people that are genuine too, and you can stay connected for so long. Because even since we got connected, I can't tell you how many people I've met and they don't even make music anymore. Even in the last couple of years, or they just kind of disappeared.
I've had that same thing happen for sure.
Yeah, so it's great to see that you're still doing your thing too, man. And we usually start off every episode by having the guest give some, background on how they got into music, just a little introduction on you and what you do.
For sure, man. Yeah, so I go by Chenzo. My name's Vinny, and I'm from Massachusetts. And I've always been into music. Music's always been there for me. I feel like through it all, all my hardest times, music's helped me get through that. I've always loved messing around, rapping and freestyling and stuff like that, and just for fun, not even taking it that seriously. Even when we were growing up with my neighbors and friends and shit, I always loved rap music from a young age, 7, 8 years old, listening to Lil Wayne, Kanye West, and Drake, and know all those artists for such a long time at this point.
Yeah.
But when I went to college and studied music at the University of New Haven from 2017 to 2021, and I met, just so many cool people in music as well, and just really broadened my horizons from there, listening to all different types of music besides just rap. But that's when I decided to start taking it seriously and writing songs. It became very, very therapeutic for me to start writing music, listening to beats all the time, spending a lot of time alone, just trying to understand myself, I guess, and my feelings, and trying to work through them. A lot of my older stuff is really emotional, and I've grown a lot since then. I've been doing it for 6 years now, over that. So to see the growth in the music has been awesome, putting out tons of music and just trying different things, and it's become just a lot more positive, the vibes moving forward.
Absolutely. And I know I skimmed through your Spotify a couple of days ago, and yeah, I saw that it goes all the way back to 2018 of when you've been releasing stuff. And I definitely want to touch on some of the music, some of the more recent stuff here in a bit. But I do want to talk about, you moving to Nashville, making that decision, because obviously Nashville is a big music city. It's a place where a lot of people go and move to kind of make connections and do different things, depending on what they're looking to do, in their careers. So what for you, led to that decision to move from Massachusetts to Nashville?
That's a good question, man. I feel like I would have never imagined that I would be here, at the end of high school.
Mhm.
I didn't even know if like music was the right thing to do. I mean, like I did, but like it's not the traditional
Yeah,
route. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like the entertainment industry as a whole or whatever.
yeah,
Just to go and just like do what I knew I was passionate about. I didn't have as much like or had any musical talent at all. Like besides like the small things you do in like middle school that you're required to
Mhm.
do. I played like saxophone for like a year in like fifth grade and then stopped.
yeah, yeah,
But so it was like I felt like I was kind of inadequate going in to college with all these talented musicians around me, and then time shows that I just from sticking with it and being passionate about it, that is like a huge factor in things. You know, just it's crazy. Like you
yeah.
said, like some people aren't even doing music anymore or whatever, but that's always what's been passionate about me. This is a long-winded answer to your
No,
question,
no, it's good. I like it
but
because
because I studied music in college and went to the University of New Haven, I
yeah,
had an opportunity to do an internship in Nashville my junior year of school, which was in 2020, which was like around the time when we got connected too.
mhm.
That's what I was saying. I did an internship my junior year of school, and that was like right before COVID happened. So I kind of got like half a semester in Nashville and kind of felt robbed from that because I loved it so much. It was just understanding how awesome it was to be a musician there and like the sense of community that it had. So like I knew I wanted to go back, even though I only had a few months there, and then had to go home and like finish online. And then I went back to New Haven to do my senior year, which was like half online, half in person. And then I saved up a little bit, and then I moved here, and I just didn't look back.
Yeah. It's crazy how one thing kind of leads to another in that way. And sometimes it's not really what you expect is going to happen, but it kind of leads you where you need to be at the end of the
Right,
day,
and
which is
for
pretty
sure. And that's
crazy.
where I feel like I may not be where I want to be right now in some ways, but like I'm very thankful and I understand that this is where I'm meant to be right now, and
Yeah.
that's what I think at least.
Mhm.
And I've been here for 2 years, and I was flown by. I just signed on for another year at my house too, so you're here for at least another year. But I could see myself here long term. Just so many awesome people in music, or just even just fans of music, and can help out in so many different ways, and just cool people, good
Yeah.
times, endless opportunities for that, and yeah, I'm just having a good time, trying
Yeah.
to slow down, enjoy the process, and make more music.
Yeah. Just taking it one day at a time. I love that, man. And
Trying.
yeah, that's all we can do at the end of the day, for sure. And I kind of want to pose this question to you. This is actually something that I was asked. I was a guest on another podcast a few weeks ago, and the show host was asking me about how I felt about getting encouragement from others on your music. And the way I've always viewed it, at least with my like how I came up and like the people that I have around me, I never really had that kind of support as far as like people giving me encouraging words and things like that. But I never felt like it mattered to be able to have success. Like you can still do it regardless. So for you, like how do you view that? Have you had people in your life that have encouraged you along the way, or you haven't had that at all? Like, or maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Like, what is your experience with that, and how do you view, getting encouragement from others?
For sure, man. Good question. I think it's like somewhere in the middle, man. I mean, I have friends that are super supportive, especially back home. Even my family. I can't thank my parents enough, for just raising me and dealing with me and just unconditionally loving me no matter what.
Mhm.
But, I want to do live my best life for them too, and be able to give back to them eventually. But like they've been super supportive. Like my dad was the one who like pushed me to do the music program at New Haven instead of just like kind of going into college like I don't know, go somewhere random like and just party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was what my mindset was at the time. Like until I was like, should I really do something I'm passionate about?
Mhm.
We've toured the school and I liked it, and it ended up being probably the best decision I ever made.
Yeah. That's great, man.
to listen to my dad. Shout out my dad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always good. It's always good to have that too, and kind of like an extra voice to kind of give you that push too. Because I feel like sometimes we might even be on the fence about like making these decisions for ourselves that we want to, but it might not. We might have to have that sometimes to get that extra push to be like, yeah, I can definitely do this. And then once you go for it, it's like, yeah, that was the right decision. And then you look back and you're like, wow, who knows what would have happened if I didn't make the decision. So
Right.
yeah, that's awesome, man.
I definitely had people try to, I don't know, bring me down, or not necessarily to my face, even, of course, but like,
Yeah,
just like doubting me. And then I understand too, a lot of people see it as a hobby until it becomes apparent that this is like who I am now that it's been 6 years. I have a foundation laid.
yeah,
And, some people do music for a short period of time and then they stop. But like, I've been taking it seriously, consistently for those 6 years, and I plan on never stopping. Like,
yeah,
that's what to me is going to be my success, the fact that no matter what, I never gave up, and I never will
yeah,
until I'm dead, until I'm gone. But like, I just want to enjoy and make the most of this life and do exactly what I want to do creatively, and just like have fun. That's like, if we're not having fun with it, what are we doing? Obviously, we want other people to enjoy it too, but I feel like I create kind of selfishly in a way where I'm making it for me, and then if other people can enjoy it, awesome. Because you got to help yourself. I help myself through the music, and then hopefully can help some other people too.
I'm 100% on the same wave of that, man. Absolutely. And just being able to do that is so important at the end of the day. So congrats on that, honestly, because it's something to be proud of for sure. And being able to be consistent is how you are gonna keep being able to reinvent yourself and keep showing up. So I think that's great, man. And I want to get into some of the music. Primarily, you dropped a project last year called Yes, Life is Hype, I believe. And you did a deluxe version as well, which I had the chance to listen to some of that, and man, I got to tell you, a lot of diversity on there with the production choices, with the flows you were going with. I can tell you there was just a lot going on, but it was all quality too. So like, let me know, what is the story behind the project? What kind of led you to want to do like a big album like that?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, that's a great question, though. I'm thinking about it, where it even started. I probably started around the time where I was moving to Nashville, and I started listening to more of, the more like hyper pop, electronic, EDM type beats that like I could also rap on.
Hmm.
I was very inspired by like a lot of Trippie Redd's music at the time, and like one of my buddies too as well, like a great producer. And like we were making the song together called Garden of Eden, and that song was just so different for me, like getting on that like more EDM wave, I guess, and just like singing and rapping and flowing however I can on that, and it came out awesome. So shout out my guy Callie for that. And super fun to record. So when I just like I was moving past all the emotional stuff, like literally like right before I moved to Nashville, like a couple of days, I dropped a mixtape called No Contact, and that was about like just moving forward, like from the past, and like literally just creating a whole new life for myself, and did exactly what I was gonna say, and moved to Nashville, and just start fresh. That I think that was like something I really needed, and glad that I went for it and never looked back. Like I'm gonna do what it takes to live the life that I want, and right now that's like being here and making music.
Yeah.
I'm losing my train of thought, but sorry, what was the question?
No, it's all good. I mean, you basically answered it. It was just kind of what went into creating that project, and it really sounds like it was, more of just living life. You know what I mean, and allowing the influence to come to you, and then it translates over into the music as well. And what do you think is like your process with recording and writing these days? Do you write and then like go in and record yourself? Do you like to have somebody else in the room while you're doing this stuff, or how does that, where do you find is most comfortable for you?
Yeah, man, it's been just so different. I feel like since COVID, like recording, I've done a lot just in my own room, like literally you can see the mic right
Yeah, yep.
and just recording. And then I have my buddy Tommy Vasa, shout out Tommy from college, and I just like bounce my stems out to him, and he'll mix them for me. That's like how things have kind of been done since COVID, really. And for like the upcoming project I'm gonna release, which we can talk about more in a little bit if you want.
Yeah.
And then like recently, like I have a new song too. Let's Go. Let's Go's out now. I put that out about like a week ago, and that was recorded in a studio in Nashville with one of my friends, Izzy Rage. Shout out Izzy at Home Studios in Nashville. And it's just like this awesome environment to be in. I love like, you know, having multiple people in the room, because I had two of my buddies, Marcus Edvardson and Exclusive. They were featured on it. So it was just like such a different vibe than being in my room alone, being in the studio with my friends and creating something that we all are contributing to. And, you know, the sound, especially with this pop sound that I'm going for with Let's Go. And like, I'm going to continue the vibes of yes, life is hype to life is too hype, because I get too many of these types of beats and ideas, and just further want to continue to like affirm like that this life is something I'm excited about. And that was like a lot of the meaning too behind life is hype, is like manifesting and speaking a life that I will enjoy into existence.
Hey there, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know about a couple different ways that you can support the podcast. One of the ways is by clicking that support the podcast button within your streaming platform. That is if you want to be a monthly supporter of the show. You can contribute either 99 cents, $5, or $10 a month. So that's the first way, and that's the more traditional way that we've had now for the last couple years. The other method that we actually just recently introduced is from our good friends over at Ko-fi. Ko-fi is a virtual tip jar. We have set our limit to a minimum of $10, but you can go make one-time, one-off donations. So if you visit ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast, you'll be able to donate. And all these different forms of donation go towards getting new guests every single week, getting potential sponsors on board to do giveaways, and overall just making the show better for you guys. So if you want to do that Ko-fi link, it's ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Otherwise, again, look for that support the podcast button in your streaming platform if you'd like to be a monthly supporter. And I just want to say thank you guys for your contributions. And without further ado, let's get back into the episode. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And we can get right into, you know, the next project now. We can discuss it a little bit more, because it sounds kind of like that's going to be almost like an elevated version of the last project, or like a next step in the journey. So like, how's it been so far? And you know, how much of it do you have completed currently?
For sure, man. It's called In Rotation, and it's actually like a project that I've been working on since I started rapping in 2018. There's like some old songs I wrote on there and then recently recorded, and some new songs on there as well. But it's strictly like good vibes. So kind of like still taking the vibes and like ideas behind Life is Hype and putting a different twist on it. Like, it's more like chill, like rap, old school rap type beats. Like, even like, you know, I don't even know. It's just like very chill. That's songs that you can smoke to. It's the good vibes to keep in rotation while you got some joints in rotation or whatever. You know, I am a firm, you know, enthusiast and supporter of cannabis. That's something I've not been, you know, afraid to express. That's a part of my brand as well, with Endless Enjoyment is like the brand that I have and record label that I put my music under, and the podcast that I do as well. You know, so
that sounds like man. That sounds like a summertime type of vibe. So is that what you're aiming for, or you think you're gonna?
Exactly. I've been saying I'm gonna drop it like every summer for like since I started rapping. But it's finally time to move on, so I can, you know, work on the more newer stuff that I'm really excited about, like the Life is Hype vibes, and then, you know, sometime next year I'll put out Life is Too Hype, and just further. I like just the, you know, the artwork that I had done for it, and, you know, just the vibes it captures, and just like literally the intro song to Life is Hype was called Paradise, Tears of Joy, in parentheses, Tears of Joy, because the first time I heard that beat, I cried tears of joy. Like, I didn't even know, like, just because I knew that was the direction I wanted to go in. I didn't know what the song was going to be about. I think maybe that was the name of the beat. It was like Tears of Joy or Paradise or something. And then like that melody just kind of came to me and I went with it. But like just the production quality and being like, I can rap on these types of beats and make these crazy songs and have fun performing. Like I go in with the intention of writing like what is the most fun stuff I can perform.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing about making music at the end of the day anyway, you know what I mean? And when you have those moments where it's like this is the one, like this is going to be something, and then you get to actually like live that out and fulfill that goal. So man, that's incredible, and I'm excited for all the new music. So I want to be on the lookout for it this summer and everything. Absolutely, man.
You've been supporting more than most over the years, dude. You know, so it's dope to see us both on our own journey. We both started podcasts. I mean, you've been killing it, doing it very consistently for 4 years, whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been fine for like a little over 2 years. Haven't been as consistent as you have been with it, but I would love to, you know, keep going with it. It's just a lot to juggle, you know, being an artist myself, and there's a lot of other things that I do.
Yeah. We can touch on that too, because I actually forgot that you did have a podcast, but I've seen you post about it before, and you have guests in person the majority of the times. I don't know if you've done like virtual ones, but from what I've seen, you've done it all in person. So what's it about? You know, what is the name of it, and what's like the concept behind it?
Yeah, every episode has been shot in person. Yeah. I've had some people like call in while we're doing it, but it's called the Endless Enjoyment Podcast after my brand, Endless Enjoyment Entertainment. And, you know, really the guests and topics are endless, dude. That's what I love about it. And it's just, you know, a space where my guests can talk about what they got going on and just in a casual setting, of course. And then we're just like, sometimes like if it's my friends, I might have my friends on or something and we'll have a conversation and hang out and I can talk about what I got going on and might let loose a little bit on it. Some episodes where, you know, we've gotten, you know, drunk on it. So those are pretty funny, you know, entertaining more than just like informative about a guest. So it's like a lot of different things. I mostly interview music, you know, artists because that's just who a lot of my friends and connections are in music. Mm-hmm. You know, producers, musicians, artists, rappers, especially because I'm in hip hop, you know, mostly. But I love being friends with people in all different types of genres and learning from them. And, you know, we have such positive conversations that hit along a lot of the same like topics or cliches, I think, you know, like enjoying the journey and shit like that. Like, you know, and just like keep supporting each other. I love to support other artists. There's a lot of talented, you know, musicians around that don't have that, you know, much recognition or spotlight on them. And I'm here to do that for people that I genuinely enjoy. Like I do it for free. I work. I produce all the episodes myself. We're almost going to hit 60 episodes right now in the last 2 years or so. So I started it back home in Boston in the end of 2021. And then I kept it going when I moved here in 2022.
Yeah, it's always great to have a platform, too, to be able to do that and to be able to support, you know, like you said, your friends, your peers, and be able to shed that light. So it's super important, man, and congrats on that as well, because I think that's super awesome. And I got to know, do you ever have trouble, like, wrapping episodes up? Because I feel like you might go, like, 2-3 hours talking to someone. You might just keep going.
Sure.
Does that happen?
I've had some long episodes in there for sure. Yeah. I tried to keep them shorter as of recently, but sometimes when you're just having a good time, it's hard to.
You lose track of time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
If it's a good conversation, you know. I love being able to look back on the episodes too, especially when I'm like missing some of my friends from home or that I don't get to see often. You know, just like watch the episode and be like, oh damn, that was a good time.
Yeah. Those are always the best ones, though, are the ones where you just lose track of time and it just keeps going. So that's definitely awesome, man.
I try to enjoy it as much as possible rather than, you know, like I usually have some notes, too, that I take and, like, want to hit on or, like, some of the same questions that I ask. But I try to just keep it casual. And then if I need to look at my notes real quick, I can, you know, make sure I hit the points that I wanted before we wrap it up.
Yeah. Probably the best way to go about it. And speaking of... Go ahead.
You, man, how's like it been with you? You think is that like how you go about things, or?
I do format it a little bit more like close knit as far as like keeping it on like with my questions and what I have going, and I kind of have a little bit more of a format. I think when I started out, I didn't really like understand the editing and how much it takes to like upload big files. So I'm like, I should probably keep it like 20-30 minutes for the most part. And then if we go a little bit over, that's okay. But I try to keep it condensed, but I love having people on for part 2s as well. So like we can do a little bit on the first conversation and then like pick it up on the next one. So that's like kind of a cool thing that I like to do. But I think that's the great thing about podcasting in general is everybody runs their platforms differently, and you have the freedom to do whatever you want with it. And that's what's great about doing it. It's just like music. You can really like figure out what works for you and just go for it. And, people receive that if they mess with your vibe and what you're trying to do. So yeah, but that's been pretty much what I've been doing, and it's worked out pretty good. So
yeah, congrats to you, man. I mean, that's a lot of work, dude.
Yeah.
I know it, and it's just awesome to see that, we both just stayed consistent with it, or just in general with, our creative endeavors.
Absolutely, man. And we're down to the last few questions here, actually, and these are the ones I ask on every episode. And the first one is, if you could go back 10 years ago and give yourself a piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what would you do?
Man, I like to say sometimes that I wouldn't change a thing if I could like go back, but if I could just tell myself something, I would just say like, don't beat yourself up, bro. Like you're going to make mistakes. That is one thing, and like don't let it keep you down. Like you have to keep going. You have no option but to keep going. And if you beat yourself up, it's gonna only hold you back and just take you longer to get to where you're going. But then again, it's like about enjoying the journey too. So I mean, I'm glad to be where I am. Thankful for all the decisions I made 10 years ago. But it's crazy thinking about it back now. But
the highs and lows.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, man. And if we flip that then and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself in music, with the podcast, all that good stuff?
We did it. We did anything. We did everything that I said I would, and I'm gonna keep manifesting a good life that I want to live and be proud of and make the most of, and help others and just be able to do whatever I want and just be a beacon to positivity, good vibes only, and have no time for anything else.
Yeah, man. And do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
Man, I feel like what I just said, honestly, to my past self was the realest shit ever. Don't beat yourself up over shit.
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes, and if someone acts like they don't, they're fucking definitely making some big mistakes.
Yeah.
But just enjoy yourself, make the most of it, do what you got to do, be thankful for the people that do support you and that are there for you, and just enjoy your time with them and the time we got here, and see just be nice.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one of all for sure, man. But I gotta say, dude, thank you again for wanting to come on the show. I'm glad we could finally do this. And we'll definitely have to do a part 2 if you're down, man. And we'll have to do it in a couple years. But I'll be looking out for the new music and everything you got coming out. And keep doing you, man. Keep doing you, because I think what you're doing is great. So, yeah, man, thanks again.
Of course, thank you. I appreciate the support, the opportunity to tell a little bit about my story and how I've gotten to where I've got. I still got a long way to go and plan to be doing this for a long time, plan to be around for a long time. Want to enjoy myself and spread the love.
Yeah, man.
And appreciate you. Stream Let's Go. That's out now with my boys. Marcus Everton is exclusive. And we out here and just having a good time. That's all I can say, man. It's much love.
Thanks, guys, for listening today. That was episode 213. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit the support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.